Alicia because I see her in me. And she empowers me. She makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. She makes me feel like I can be, if I'm having a rough day, Markeisha could get through worse. So I can get through this. And to me, that's so much more powerful than just, here, let me show you a cute 5-minute action sequence.
Yeah.
No, I think the comic book is great anyways. The web comic is awesome. And one day, after the live movie version of Kamikaze Animated, there will be comic book adaptations of the film. So it's going to come back around all the way around.
Right.
So yeah.
Rebooted TV shows. Yeah.
Exactly. That's right.
White and blonde.
And that comic book adaptation will be done by us.
That's right.
Exactly.
You got first bids on it. Yeah, that's right. The first check.
And Janelle and Lisa.
Yeah.
That's right. So, so y'all knocked out, and how long did it take to work on those 12 pages? 10, 12? It was 8, and then it went into 10?
Yeah, from 8 to 10. Yeah, and there's a little bit of back and forth in the thumbnail stage. That's one really, really good reason for an artist to do thumbnails. Share them with the writer or writers, if there are more than one. And if there are any crossed wires, any misinterpretations, or sometimes the writer can say, you know what, that doesn't actually work as well as I thought it would. Can we do this instead? Mm-hmm. Sometimes the artist comes in and says, I know you got this thing right here, but what if we did this instead? And if the writer is good at their job, they'll say, oh, yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah.
that is better than what I wrote. Yes, let's do that. But yeah, there was like 2 pages worth of stuff where we worked stuff out, changed some camera angles, but then I kind of lost track of, I wasn't keeping up day to day on your page progress.
Yeah, it was roughly 2.5 pages a week.
Because you still have a regular job, right? And you're still working.
Well, no, that summer I was on vacation. But I was with my girlfriend. So
so that's like a job.
Yeah.
No. Busy.
Yeah, full-time
he was
job.
distracted.
highly distracted.
Again, a different podcast, a different time. But go ahead.
Yeah. But the gist of it was I had to make time for those pages, for that work time, and I was going back and forth between Dallas and between Austin. My girlfriend's in Austin, so we're exploring Austin, but at the same time I'm like, okay, well, in the morning after breakfast I at least have to dedicate 2 to 4 hours on this page, and so that was trying to strike that balance was one of the more challenging parts of just working on it. Yeah. But other than that, actually working on the page, that was one of the funnest stuff ever.
Yeah.
It was awesome to see him working on it because he would be at the table, just going, and he'd have this little grin on his face. Mm-hmm. And there'd be times where he'd whip his glasses off, and I'm like, oh, that looks like, I don't know, he'd just whip them off, and they'd look he'd look like Horatio from CSI or whatever.
Something happened here.
And I'm just oh, something's going on. But
no, draw a page and be like, yeah.
Oh, you gotta come back. You gotta come back and look at it again. You gotta come back in the room, see the whole room again. All right, nice. So, how long did you take to color? Did you get them all at one time? Were you getting page by page as Jamil was knocking them out?
2 pages usually, 2 pages a week, and I usually try to knock them out within 1 or 2 days after getting them, or either the one day, just knock them out, and then try to get the buffer to Havana, because I know a lot of times the letters get screwed. The color, the penciler would be yeah, I'm just hanging out and doing my thing. He gets it done because he has the longest deadline. Then the colorist has penciler, inker, then colorist, and then the inker is okay, so I still have a medium amount of time, and then the colorist has that little tiny window, and if they're not the letterer, they're gotta get it done, so they get 4 pages done in a weekend, and they just push it. But if they're just dilly-dallying around, here comes the letterer doing it 8 hours before the deadline. So I try to make sure Havana would at least have a buffer.
Yeah.
So I guess like whenever you would typically give the pages like
Be like
Wednesday.
Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
So the hiatus has begun. It was about to begin, and you're working on the first 2 pages, ready to go. You don't have like weeks ahead where you knock the whole thing out and it
I
just
think
sitting.
we would have.
it was
We had like 2 to 4 pages.
Yeah, about
Yeah.
pages
At the
before.
beginning.
At the beginning.
and then after that, it was he was just literally jumping the hurdles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was when I was like, oh, I'm in Austin. Okay.
Yeah.
And knock this out.
Yeah. They would call me up and be like, hey, so how are those pages?
Yeah, I
You're
feel
like,
like
here's a picture. I
I
swear
feel
I'm
like
working on it.
This is after she's seen your Facebook post where y'all hanging out and stuff. Yeah, she just seen your check-in list. Like, wait a
I
minute.
didn't know that until after the fact. I was like, oh, she called me. Oh, wait, my girlfriend posted then.
Out with Jamel, heart,
You know, this is like the core team was. Oh, it's a truck.
It's
The core team was functioning the way an editor functions in comics. Because the editor is the one who hires everyone to begin with, and sometimes has the idea of the initial concept, sometimes not. But the editor is the one who coordinates everything, which means wrangles and handles.
Project managed,
it was a whole new role that we
I-
did not expect to take on.
That's what's funny about this situation right here, because it's Alan, Carrie, Havana, and then here comes another team, and it's 3 people.
Yeah.
And now you done moved up to the next step up in in management and so on.
It was definitely a good learning experience.
Well, editors have to be like psychologists, basically. Because you're wrangling an entire team of creative people, which is, I've done it in the past. I don't ever want to do it again.
No, it's tough.
You know,
But,
And the thing is, like, I'm very impressed that Jamel even worked on it during his vacation. Because, like, when he got back, he was pumping out those pages. But, he was on vacation, or he was seeing his family, actually.
And we get it. I mean, it's just like, we get it. You're there, you haven't seen your family in forever.
Yeah.
And of course you need time to be with your family. So it's not like we're going to be like, stop hanging out with your mom.
Yeah.
Well,
you can sit next to her, but you can't talk to her.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't talk.
You can be in her presence, but she needs to leave you alone. It's, I mean...
I think part of it is, like, putting on the business hat and the friend hat and knowing when to do that.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes in the same conversation.
Yeah, and there's definitely points where we were a little worried that Jamel got us a little concerned. But, he always gave us some heads up. He always made sure that we knew what was going on.
Communication
was open for the most part. So, I mean, I think we all learned how to better communicate during that.
Yeah.
Especially with what Dan was saying, because I was, in a large part, I was playing editor for this. Because I remember there was some certain paneling where it would have repeated a beat that had already happened within the story, and I was I saw that and I was like, oh no, what are we gonna do? So on one hand, it was like, I think it was like 2 a.m. and I'm thinking, Dan's in bed. There's nothing that I could do. And I'm sitting there, do I fix it? Do I just leave it? Do I do it myself? And then I checked G-Chat, and oh my god, he's there.
The green light was on.
The green light was on. I like almost
busted.
I almost cried. I was just like, oh my god.
And she contacts me and I don't remember exactly the words she said, but the tone was like, "I'm so sorry to have to bother you, and it's so late at night. But we have this situation, and the beats repeat here, and it's not going to read right. And it's not going to look right. Would you mind fixing this?" And I said, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, okay.
And then he got it fixed for me in like 5 minutes, and I'm like, you're the best person ever. Thank you for working with us.
And like there was another one where I put a typo in. I had the word "just" repeated. It was like somebody said, "Well, just hand me that and just do this," or something like that. And it was just one of those needed to be deleted.
Right.
And Carrie was like, well, I didn't want to say anything. I'm like, no, I screwed up. That's what the editor does, is points out, catches the mistakes.
One of the things on was it page 8 or 9? I had like made these little electric notes. And,
oh my god! Man.
And I never meant to like actually like keep that in, because I had a little winky thing just did for fun.
Yeah, like there's a page where Flair wink with one of the characters in the Midnight Run winks at Kamikaze, and there's like this little star, and I thought that was the cutest thing in the world.
I never meant to.
Wait, that wasn't intentional.
No. Oh God. It was a joke because we were talking about it.
Why would you include that?
Because I didn't erase it.
And Carrie sends me a note.
Look, my girlfriend walks by and I'm just inking.
Carrie sends me a note. I love the star wink.
Right there.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Which page is that?
You said page 8, so on
5
on the website,
So
Midnight Run, page 5. Yeah.
For the people listening in, it's page 5 of Midnight Run.
Yeah, that little wink was never supposed to be in there. But I did these little electric notes, I think, in page 8, and I never intended to put those in too. And so...
Okay, Janelle, if they're not supposed to be in there,
I should erase
just
them.
erase
You eat them, man.
I ate them.
How is she supposed to know?
I inked them. I did the levels. I did the the CMYK thing. I was just like, I did everything, and it never dawned on me to like.
That's because that's a different part.
It wasn't just
That's
pencil.
a different part of the process.
Yeah.
Different part of the brain is engaged.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Oh yeah,
he's right.
It is. This is different.
Okay.
Different mode of thinking.
That is hilarious.
And
it works.
He made the file print ready.
I made the entire file print ready, and that was all it.
Okay, so
He made that winky star print ready, and it was a note. Okay.
So that's what you did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what.
and you're like, I'm gonna do this.
And so
I'm like, he did this. It's going.
By the time it gets to lettering, I look at that pen like, huh, that's an interesting stylistic choice. I'm like, okay,
We'll go with it.
Pretty much.
Because by the time you get to that stage, the color and lettering, like decisions have been made and approved and all this other
he's
stuff.
in his domain, man.
Yeah.
We don't tell him what to do.
But going off to not telling him what to do, the electric story
electric thing.
was a little fiasco.
What happened?
It was a 3.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like I put in these little electric notes. I was like, okay, cool. That's electricity. I have to show the character reacting as such, and so like, I'm drawing her like the character like back and like reeling back and just making it like super painful.
Oh
and,
no! Next page.
Next page.
Next page.
So it's page 6.
I think it's
One more, I think.
another one.
I thought it was at the
And
back when you
then-
first.
There you go.
There was
That
one
one.
at the beginning.
I know what you're
This?
talking about. But yeah.
Yeah.
But this one didn't have the little.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, this
No.
this one totally did. It was like
No,
right here.
The
or,
first one
or it was back
the one
on.
I remember having. Cause
or I think
It's
it
the
was.
colors. I think
Yeah.
you would know.
Yeah.
Because you actually told me to draw those in after we discussed it very long.
That's right. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
previous page and
Keep
go
going
one more.
back.
We're
One
looking
more.
at the website.
more.
Forward. Or was
Forward,
it
backward.
Forward,
You got
forward again.
Oh, going forward or back? I'm going
Previous.
Yeah, okay,
We're going
back.
previous.
There.
Okay,
Back
yeah,
hand.
right there. You see
Oh,
where
right,
she's showing?
right
yeah.
here.
Above
Yeah.
her head used to be 2 little like electric symbols, like the stereotypical one.
Yeah.
Lightning bolts.
Yeah, the
Lightning
lightning
bolts.
bolts.
The,
Yeah,
the
like
Pikachu
right-
lightning bolts.
Like
I
Pikachu
actually-
lightning bolts. And I think this was
Page
page
3. It's page 3
Page
of
three.
Midnight Run that we're talking about.
How can
here.
you tell? Where do you see the page?
It was in-
right there.
Oh, it says it right there in the title. Huh? How about that? Sorry. Mhm.
But it was in the panel where Kamikaze shots Flair, and I remember seeing that and going, "This doesn't have the impact I need it to."
Yeah.
Like Pikachu tails just aren't doing it. And so I remember talking to Lisa, and I'm like, I think we need to redo this. Like, you might need to do the effects here.
Okay.
And and
They called me up for the one on page 8. They were like, "Hey, you did this. I was like, oh dear God, change it. I think